Hello, everyone. It is Monday, July 20th, and this is Facerollin.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
It's been 3 weeks since the last one,
Yep.
but
No.
a lot has happened.
Longer?
Well,
No, that's the correct
huh?
amount of
3 weeks
time.
is about right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 weeks seems
That
about
is,
right. Uh,
Yeah.
and we have a lot to talk about, or at least I do, and so does
I
Kelly.
have I have I have exactly like one other game to talk about.
Really?
Well, my life has been mostly just like packing boxes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like that's my living room right now is just like boxes after boxes.
good
So
Wow.
God! For those of you who can't hear, there are a lot of boxes in this
a lot of
room.
boxes. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
for
have.
those who can't hear, let me verbally describe it. There's a lot of boxes.
So yeah,
Like more than you would expect, generally.
However, I did find time to play at least one other game, so I have that. But let's go ahead and go ahead, Caps.
Okay. Let me start. So, Rocket League came out, but I guess I shouldn't talk about it because we may have decided that that would be the next game we were gonna play.
Yeah, that's
I just bought it today, so
Good.
yes, let's
Good.
go ahead and just call it right now. Well, I shouldn't say I bought it. What actually happened was Alan texted me and said you should play Rocket League, and I said, oh, I haven't picked it up yet. And then I looked at Steam and I got a gift copy of Rocket League
Oh
from
my
him.
God!
So
I love
Yeah.
that Alan is totally a sugar daddy. Like, straight up.
So we should play it after this podcast.
okay.
Because it's, yeah, the new patch for Terraria came out.
Heard
What
of
is
that.
Terraria?
Terraria is kind of like Minecraft,
But two-dimensional.
but two-dimensional, and it's more like a Metroidvania type game.
Yeah.
So imagine a procedurally generated Metroidvania where you can like dig up the dirt and craft weapons and all that stuff. So they released an update after like over a year, maybe 2 years since the last update, and it basically doubled the game, the
Wow.
amount of stuff you
Nice.
can do.
So
Because they introduced expert mode, where if like a world is an expert world, everything in it does like 4 times more damage, has 4 times more health, and then bosses drop more things that
wow.
are not available in normal world. They basically introduced around 800 new items into the game, and yeah, I've been having a lot of fun.
What
That's
are what
awesome.
what are your favorite new items so far?
I haven't even so I've barely been playing
Okay.
the expert world because it's really hard to do alone. I only killed like the first 2 bosses in the expert world so far.
Okay.
Whereas in the
Yes.
normal world, with the same character, I've killed the first 5 bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of new stuff so far, I think. They added like not train tracks, but like minecart tracks
Cool.
that like generate with the world underground, and you can like right click them at any time, and like you'll be on like a minecart, and like you can go through it.
Nice.
Sometimes the tracks go through lava, so
Oh
be
god.
careful.
That's a good feature because if there's one thing that really got on my nerves playing Terraria back whenever I played it, it was the extremely long amount of travel time it would take on a bigger map.
Yeah, but at the same time, like at some point they become kind of obsolete because you get things like wings and
Grappling hook.
like and speed boots and grappling hooks.
Yeah.
Um,
I think grappling
all of
hook was
those
the
are
only one
also
I found.
they have their own like inventory
Mhm.
part, like their own equip menu. Since basically there was never a reason to not have your grappling hook on you, so it kind of like wasted an inventory slot.
Mhm.
But now there's like a special inventory. There's like a pet slot. There's a light pet slot, which like like the light generating pets, like
Yeah.
the glowing orb or like a heart that like bounces around. There's a mount slot, a grappling hook slot,
Wow. Okay.
and a minecart slot.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. That's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
and everything can be dyed. Everything
Cool.
also has like a dye slot. Yeah, so I've been playing that a lot. A lot. Uh,
Right.
also, more New Vegas.
Nice,
I've
nice.
explored almost the entire game at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you killed all of Caesar's Legion?
Yes. Well, kinda.
Okay.
I killed Caesar and
Oh
like that
wow.
area, but I haven't gotten to like the other area beyond Hoover Dam yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, yeah, so I've played more of that. No need to talk about it since we already talked about it last time. Played Lethal League a bunch.
That's a great get. That is the closest
Yeah.
I'll ever get to a new Windjammers.
Yeah,
I
played it
think.
with Trevor exclusively, basically.
Oh, yeah, really? Yeah. Lethal League is great. Like the way the loop of that game starts to ramp up is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts real simple and then just eventually gets insane.
Yeah, I don't remember if we talked about it last time.
I don't
But
think we did.
yeah, Lethal League is basically Super Smash Bros. Baseball dodgeball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Again,
Trevor, didn't you see this at PAX?
No, we did not.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
We talked about a lot of or did I? Wait. Maybe. There were people playing it at PAX, but it was out before PAX, I believe, this year.
yeah, it was out way before PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, everyone has some sort of like bat or like a cane or something. It's 2D in like a pretty small like arena, and there's a ball. You hit the ball turns your color, and if that ball touches another player while it's your color, then that player is like out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it
the more you
starts
hit
to
the ball, the faster it goes.
yeah, and eventually the game will start to do this thing where like someone will hit the ball and the game will actually like freeze and like a sound effect will start like ramping up and like auras are like coming out of the ball and then after a certain amount of time it just launches out of the person's like hand and starts ricocheting around the arena like crazy.
This sounds really awesome. Is it top
Yes.
down?
No, it's a side perspective, so it's
Yeah,
like people
oh,
running
shit.
around. Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
Yeah, at a certain point, the ball basically bounces around the arena like 5 times within a single frame.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
insane.
jeez.
Yeah, like once you reach the end, it's basically like you're relying on luck almost to like hit that ball back.
Yep.
You're swinging for the fences and hope you get it.
Yeah, and then like you keep hitting it, and, like the arena like changes colors from the intensity of the hit.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so played some of that. Got a little bit back into Minecraft, just because I felt like
Yes.
building something.
Because Terraria.
Yeah, kinda. Like Terraria is great for like combat and like boss killing, but I was like, I want to build some shit. So I got this like mod pack that I may have talked about before. But basically, you start on just like a little island in the sky. There's literally nothing around you. Like there's no ground. Well, I mean, there's like a tiny bit of ground, but other than that, you're basically just floating in nothingness. And you start on an island with like a single tree and like a block of dirt, and that's it. And from that, you can make everything in the game because of all the mods in it.
Nice.
It starts off super tedious, but at the end of it, you have like a bunch of machines. Everything is automated. You have like a supercomputer that can handle things for you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. It's called Agrarian Skies for anyone listening who wants to play it. And yeah, I think that might be it.
All right.
That I've played. Yep. So, Kelly, tell us
Yeah.
about Comic-Con.
So I only played Final Fantasy 14, but in exchange,
Fine.
I went to Comic-Con and stuff. So Comic-Con basically, 4 days of magic and fun. It actually had, I think 2014 had like 130,000 people go, and since it capped, I'm assuming it capped around the same time, so I'm assuming about the same went this year. But it sounds like a lot of people, but they really handle it really well. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Anime Expo, but they have about 60,000 people, and going to Anime Expo, it felt like a lot more people just because they had a smaller amount of area, and the lines for lining up for panels and stuff wasn't as well handled as it is in Comic-Con. So,
Right.
you know, there's a lot of people there, but they handle it extremely well. I went there for comic books since I do comic books and stuff. And after I went in 2003 and 2007, and so this is my third year going.
Nice.
And it's changed a lot. Back in 2003, it was more of a comic books driven. Like they had comic books booths, and they still have those, but it's definitely a minority now.
Yeah.
Now it's much more entertainment driven, and from what I've talked to people with, it seems like it happened around when Twilight came out because they wanted to appeal to like the nerd crowd, and then a whole bunch of people went and they realized how much money and how much like hype comes from it. So I think it's just kind of snowballed into what it is now.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, there's always a lot of like television and like movie announcements that come out of Comic-Con now.
Yeah.
And I remember going in, I don't remember if it was like 2009 or 2010, but it was sometime around there. And everything was like supernatural. Like there were supernatural panels, and everyone was dressed as like the characters from Supernatural, and there was very little like actual comic representation there.
And it's kind of great for people who are in comics. It's not so great because it's really hard to get in sometimes. The only reason I got in is because I applied for a professional pass. And, I mean, the nice thing is that if you go to comic panels, no one's going to be there, and the lines are going to be super short, which is great. So,
yeah,
like,
that's awesome.
So, like, you know, Kelly Sue DeConnick, who's the writer of Captain Marvel, who has a huge following, she had a panel on just writing, and there were empty seats in there. I mean, there weren't a lot, but there were still empty seats in there.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, Kelly Sue DeConnick is on stage, and I'm getting wisdom into my ear holes. It was just so great.
Was G. Willow Wilson there?
You know what? She was.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah, she did. Cause she does shit, I can't believe I'm blanking out on it. They do like Cabin Girls or Lumberjack Girls.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming she does, right? Maybe I could be completely and ignorantly wrong, but I'm just going to assume that I'm right and say yes, she was there.
Okay. Cool. I would hope so.
And I also went to a Jim Lee panel where basically Jim Lee takes two people from the audience, have them like draw the Joker in pencil, and then he takes their drawings and then inks over them and corrects all the things going on and makes them fucking awesome. And then he's like, you want this drawing? Here, you can have this drawing. And then they get a drawing by Jim Lee, which instantly makes it $600, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Last year, actually, Jim Lee was hiding sketches around the con, and people were finding them, and they actually created teams to go track them down when he posted on Instagram. He unfortunately did that and put one in the women's restroom, and then men were rushing in to go get them.
That was poor decision making on everyone's part in that event.
Yeah.
It was bad decision making on his part to put it in there, and then it was worse decision making on all the guys who walked in.
Oh, yep. Absolutely, dude. That was, but I think that's really cool. It kind of makes something fun at the con. Some other people, I went to a Comedy Central. They had a couple Comedy Central panels, right? And I went to the Drunk History one, and so I went early because I didn't want to get in the line. So I walk in, sit down, I look on stage, and there's Bryan Cranston and Seth Green. And I'm just like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool, you know? And they're promoting the show that they're doing that's going to be coming out soon. And then they do the Drunk History panel. So Derek Waters was there. It was kind of amazing. Season 3 is coming up, so I'm really excited. And then afterwards, they're promoting a new show called something period, another period. And then Joss Whedon walks onto stage, and he's like, I'm an executive producer for this show. And I'm just like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But speaking of like pop culture, how Comic-Con has now become a pop culture, nerd culture, mecca event sort of thing, they had some video game representation on the floor. Like they had Xbox, Warcraft.
Yeah, that's been growing for the past couple of years at Comic-Con, I've heard.
Yeah, and it's not too big actually. It's not huge like the Marvel Studio
Mhm.
booths and stuff, but it was still like fairly big. Like they probably took up maybe like about an eighth of the hall, and it was actually pretty cool. Xbox had their own grand ballroom actually in the Hyatt, where they were giving out free stuff, and then they were promoting new games and that sort of thing, like Halo, and they even had a laser tag thing in it. They had
Oh,
laser tag inside of this ballroom. It was kind of like ridiculous. Like the amount of like ridiculous awesomeness at Comic Con is just on hyperbolic levels. It's just to experience it once, it's kind of awesome. But yeah,
man, Microsoft.
yeah, I don't
No,
really.
they have no shame.
They
They'll,
really don't.
they'll do anything.
I got some cool sunglasses out of it though.
Nice, very
Uh,
nice.
but yeah, there wasn't there. Capcom was there, and so was Nintendo.
I didn't think Capcom was in a situation where they could afford a booth.
They were plugging the crap out of Street Fighter Five.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, I already talked about. Never mind. I was about to go into my whole spiel about how I am no longer as hard on Street Fighter Five, but I did that last time, so we're good.
Wait, did you hear
Okay.
the news about Street Fighter V though?
The whole like you can like they're gonna have two different types of money that you can get. Yeah, yeah. So
Everything in the
basically,
game will be unlockable just by playing. Even
yeah.
like-
So Capcom has done something very smart. They made an announcement this week where there's going to be DLC for the game, but you can earn currency in the game by playing it that will allow you to buy the future DLC.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Which is smart because Capcom has a very bad history of DLC. Like their version of DLC in the past has been make the game again and then sell it for full price again.
Yep.
Oh no.
Like, cause that's like Street Fighter 4 came out, and then there was like Ultra Street Fighter 4 and Super Street Fighter 4, and then eventually they figured out, oh well, we can make it like an unlock thing. Like if you own the game, you can pay $15 to upgrade. But for a solid like 4 years, while Street Fighter 4 was constantly being re-released, the only way to get the new stuff was to go out and buy a new copy of the game.
Oh no.
Just pretty. And then they did the same thing with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Which is, yeah, that's kind of a shitty thing to do to your customers, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's about it for Comic-Con.
Cool.
Not too many video games things happened there, but it was a pretty solid convention,
Right.
Would recommend if you can pay $220 to get in, which, I think it's definitely worth like paying $220 to go,
That is more expensive than I think any other convention I've been to.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but
Do you pay more for the professional pass?
professional pass is free, so
Oh. Well.
yeah, Trevor, you might want to think about applying for one.
So you did not have to pay $225 for your badge then, right? You just
No,
Okay.
it was very free.
That's cool.
Um,
I didn't know that was the case at Comic-Con. I thought maybe you'd still had to pay.
Yeah, if you get a professional pass for Comic-Con, that also actually applies to WonderCon, so you get into both conventions for free. Plus, at
Wow.
WonderCon, you get a +1, which is how me and Capsworth got in.
Nice.
But I mean, like, I think it's worth it, especially like there's so many different things to experience at Comic-Con. There's even just driving down for HotelCon, going to the parties and the bars and getting to meet people is a really intense experience. I mean, the dealer hall is enormous. Hall H, line for Hall H, which is where they have like all the big Marvel, the big Game of Thrones, Supernatural panels. That is like days long for people who want to
Jesus Christ.
wait. Yeah, it's incredible.
Guys, can I get real with you for a minute? Can I just?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand why people like Supernatural.
Me neither.
Oh
don't get it.
no.
I don't
But
get it. Kelly,
that-
can you summon up any words of defense for Supernatural?
I mean,
No.
I've watched a solid some seasons of it. I've watched like 7 seasons of it, and I assume hunky-ish guys and stuff, but it's dumb. It's a real bad show.
No,
It's
but
a
I
bad
mean,
show. It's a bad show.
okay, so I really tried to like Supernatural because there's so much, fan fiction around Supernatural that is kind of like,
Yeah, yeah, I noticed it. It is hard to miss.
and so
It's
like I thought,
everywhere.
hey, here's a big following I can get into. I should try watching this, and I really tried to like, I really, really did, but it couldn't stick with me. I got like 20 episodes in, and I couldn't do it.
I really thought.
Version of Doctor Who. It's just super cheesy. It's super cheesy. People die repeatedly and then come back.
Yeah,
It's like Doctor Who and Dragon Ball all in one.
I should also say that I don't really like Doctor Who. I mean, I'm sorry, Trevor.
It's okay. It's okay. I understand.
I saw you roll your eyes at that, Trevor.
I get it. I get that a lot. I'm sorry, Kelly. I totally derailed your Comic-Con wrap-up.
It's okay.
Continue.
I mean, fandom is a really huge part of Comic-Con. I mean, fandom is what makes Comic-Con work. Like on a very basic low level, if fans do not show up for Comic-Con, there is no Comic-Con, and there's so much that is dependent on it, which makes me excited to attend E3 because E3 is specifically for the industry, right? And so I would like to get to see how Comic-Con is in contrast to E3.
Oh, I will. So first thing I'll tell you is if you go to E3, there's not going to be a whole lot of costumes. Like nobody dresses up for E3 because they're all people who mostly work in the industry, so it'd be silly to dress up.
Yeah.
So, but Comic-Con, a lot of great cosplay stuff comes out of Comic-Con.
You know what? They're actually, compared to Anime Expo, there wasn't a lot of cosplay.
Really?
Yeah, there really isn't that much cosplay at Comic-Con. I mean, there are, and usually when they do show up at Comic-Con, especially on Saturdays, like they are on point. But it's nothing like Anime Expo, where it's a much bigger thing there.
It's true.
But yeah, if you ever have the opportunity to go, I really highly recommend it, just to experience Comic-Con at least once, How about you, Trevor? What have you been doing?
Wait 1 second.
Yeah.
Before that, Kelly, what level are you in Final Fantasy 14 now?
Well, I'm level 51 now. I'm a summoner. Yeah, so I'm excited about raiding and stuff.
You can now do all the hard stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah, I can.
You can join me. You can join me for Odin now. We can try Odin and fail on it repeatedly together.
We
can spend a fortune in repair costs together, Kelly.
No.
I mean, I guess there's company in misery, right? I mean,
yeah, that's right.
Free company in misery.
Yeah, that's right. Join our free company. It's called a WoW Guild.
I know the answer to this, but I didn't want to ask it anyway. Caps, what level are you in Final Fantasy?
31, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
nice.
right. I think that's right.
I mean, I also have a level 37, but
Yeah.
like my main currently is 31.
Dude,
Fine.
Caps, okay. He
Yeah.
has a level 33 thief and a level 38 archer and a level 31 white mage. So,
Who?
like, you.
I don't have a thief,
Wait, how
because
come...
that's not a thing.
No,
Are
they
you
have
thinking
thieves in
you're,
here.
you're thinking of either ninja or rogue?
Yeah,
A
I don't have
rogue.
either of those.
Wait, then how come it says so on your profile right now?
Right
I have
now.
a bard.
You have a bard, okay. Yeah, you have a level
37
38
bard / level 37 archer. I have a level 15 pugilist, level 33 gladiator.
Oh, that's what it is, gladiator, okay.
Or not gladiator. Well, I mean gladiator, but also paladin.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Dude, you could have been level 50 by now.
Yeah, I know, but like MMOs are boring.
No, they are great.
This podcast named after MMOs. MMOs are boring. You heard it here.
I didn't come up with the name. No, like I'm just kind of burnt out on MMOs at the moment, so I'm
happens.
playing a lot of other games.
It happens every genre. I think if you spend too much time with one, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I currently have a subscription to both WoW and Final Fantasy 14, and I don't play either.
You
Um,
really should
But you
cancel
might
your
wanna
last
fix that.
subscription.
also, me and my girlfriend signed up for Loot Crate
Nice.
2 days ago,
Oh my god.
and we're
Okay.
gonna
Nice.
we're gonna share the crates. Um,
Uh-huh. Wait. So you're sharing
So-
one crate, or you're?
yeah, we're sharing one crate.
Okay, yeah. Dude, loot crate's expensive. I don't understand why. I don't know. For me,
I haven't signed up
it's
for
not.
it.
Because there's a lot of stuff in it. And yeah. Yep. So I'm paying 3 subscriptions.
Okay,
What?
great. Let us know how it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably cancel WoW again.
What about you, Trevor? What have you been doing the past couple weeks?
So my days for the past couple days, what I've done is I start packing a box. I log on to Final Fantasy. I queue for Odin. The Odin fight takes usually about a half hour to 45 minutes to ding. So while that's going on, I just go about packing boxes, sort of organizing stuff. And when I hear the queue ding, I'll go over and try the Odin fight.
Wait, you already moved?
No, I am not in New Jersey yet.
Oh.
I was in New Jersey for about a week looking at
Mhm.
properties and stuff. Which I brought my DS. So the game that I played most recently is Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. I'm
Did
a
you
big
already play through that?
no. So I am a big fan of the Phoenix Wright games, and the most recent one, which is Dual Destinies, is the one that I had not played yet. And part of the reason I hadn't picked it up yet is because I wouldn't say I didn't like Apollo Justice, but I hold the Phoenix Wright series to like a really high standard. It's kind of like going to see a Pixar movie and thinking it was okay. Like, because it was Pixar, right, you judge it harder than if it would have been just another animated movie. And that was kind of the experience I had with Apollo Justice, where it was like, it was all right. And so I thought maybe that Phoenix Wright had kind of lost its charm, kind of lost something, and I didn't feel as eager to jump into the next one. Nintendo had a Phoenix Wright sale. I picked up Dual Destinies, and I loved it. I think Dual Destinies is maybe, if I were to rank the Phoenix Wright games, it would be a tie between that and the second one in the original trilogy. So Dual Destinies, like, for anyone who hasn't played Phoenix Wright, like, basically the way the game like breaks down is you are a lawyer, and it is a law system that is not representative of most law systems anywhere in the world. Because the way the trial system works is you have 3 days to end the case, and in most like cases or trials, you don't only have to prove that your client is innocent, you also have to find the guilty person as well. Like, most cases in Phoenix Wright end with you figuring out who the real murderer is. So Dual Destinies was a fantastic game. The games kind of finally move on forward in time. Like, the original 3 Phoenix Wright games, you're like an up-and-coming lawyer. And in this one, Phoenix is now in charge of a law office, and he has multiple like employees. And between cases, you bounce between playing as Athena Sykes, who's one of the new characters, Apollo Justice, and then Phoenix, depending on what the case is and who accepted the job. And it was cool. Like, it was really cool for it to have like that ensemble cast. I really liked what they did with it. And that was what I spent most of my time playing with on planes and whatnot.
So when will we get Phoenix Wright Law Firm Tycoon?
That would be awesome.
That
I'm
would
in.
be amazing.
I'm totally in. Have you guys played a lot of the Phoenix Wright games?
Yes,
I
I have. I
Yeah.
played.
I definitely finished the first one. I don't remember if
Okay.
I played the next 2.
Okay.
I played all 3 of the like original Phoenix Wright games, and I really loved them so much. So
I did
I'm
too.
actually thinking about picking up Dual Destiny now.
Yeah. Dual
because-
Destinies is great. There is a DLC case that came out like 6 months after the game came out.
Mhm.
I highly recommend picking it up because it is a case where you defend an orca who is accused of murder at an aquarium.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Your client is an orca. It's awesome.
Oh, god damn it! I forgot about that series. How it's just like full of absolute bullshit.
Oh, it's such wonderful bullshit. Like the thing that sells the Phoenix Wright game to me is the director's sense of like physicality. Like all of the animations are so vibrant, and you get such a sense of like what a person is just from the way they move and act. And like that's part of the reason that I love that Phoenix Wright is the straight man, right? Like Phoenix and Edgeworth, they're kind of like the straight guys, and it helps the really crazy people they encounter really stand out. And that was part of the reason I didn't really like Apollo Justice all that much when he first was introduced, because he felt like just like Wright 2.0. Like he was kind of like, he had very similar characteristics and a very similar identity to Phoenix. And I didn't connect to Apollo Justice as a character very much. I had no sense of his backstory. He felt very sort of like bland and blasé. And they've done a good job in Dual Destinies of kind of giving him a better personality. Like he's a little bit more hot-headed, and he definitely plays the role of like the protege now. Like he's being trained, right? So I really liked everything they did in Dual Destinies. The one criticism I would have of Dual Destinies is it is a little over the top, like aggressive with this thing of like everyone always saying it's the dark age of the law. Like, everyone's like it's the dark age of the law, and like there's these stories about like prosecutors like forging evidence and stuff. But the problem is a lot of that stuff doesn't happen in the game. You just hear about it from other characters. And so it's kind of like, so yeah, like if that had happened more often in the game, I would have bought it more. But instead, like you keep encountering characters that keep saying it truly is the dark age of the law whenever something shady happens. But then a lot of that stuff never actually occurs in your trial.
What is that? God, I mean, like, what does that even mean? Like,
well, so
what that means, but like
they call it the dark age of the law in the game because like the idea is that defense and prosecutors are now like falsifying evidence to try and like win instead of trying to find the truth. In fact, the game starts off with a courtroom bombing.
Wow.
Like the
That's
very
kind of dramatic.
Yeah, like I was kind of shocked because like when I first saw the trailer, I saw Apollo in like bandages and stuff, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing, guys? Like you're giving away like a huge spoiler." But no, that's the start of the game. The start of the game is there is a bombing in a courtroom and Apollo Justice is injured as a result. So he spends most of the game like wrapped in bandages.
Is this like some sort of like revenge for like kind of almost ruining the? I mean, how did Apollo Justice do on like sales and like being true to the game? You know.
I mean, so like the thing that Apollo Justice as like mechanically, what Apollo Justice introduced that was good in the series and makes a return in Dual Destinies is the ability to spot nervous tics, which I think is a great thing because the game already plays with physicality so much that it seems like a very natural addition to the game. So like in Apollo Justice, what they introduced is like it would go into this mode where it would zoom in and you'd look around the person to try and find whatever their like nervous tic is, whatever their tell is, and then Apollo would like call it out. And so that was an addition in Apollo Justice that was great, and it makes a return here. In terms of sales, I don't think Apollo Justice did as well as the previous ones. I think the worst performing one so far is the Miles Edgeworth one. It was a Game Boy. Yeah, it was a Game Boy Advance game where you played as Edgeworth instead of Wright, and that one did very poorly. I think
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, right. It does sound great, and it was the first one in the series where you actually got to move your character around. Like usually in the Wright games, when you go exploring for evidence or talking to witnesses, you just pick the place you want to move to, and then the person's just there and you talk. The Edgeworth game was the first one where you actually had like a character on screen and you would walk around.
Whoa.
Yeah. But yeah, that game did not do well. I think Apollo Justice did better than that, but I don't think any of the either of those two did as well as any of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think the other big problem with Apollo Justice is none of the cases were memorable. Like to me, that's the bigger issue because that's the game. And I can't remember a single case from Apollo Justice. I can remember multiple cases from the original 3 games. I played it pretty recently, so Dual Destiny has like a recency bias, but I can remember all the cases from that pretty well. But Apollo Justice, I can't remember almost any of them.
That's a shame.
Yeah, yeah. The other new mechanic introduced comes with the new character Athena Sykes, and she can analyze people's emotions in the courtroom.
Oh, cool.
So, like, in the middle of a testimony, you'll like jump into this system where you're looking at people's like emotional reactions to the statement that they're saying, and so you can point out like a contradictory statement. Like if the person says like I walked into the room and I was shocked by what I saw, but the surprise emotion is not pinging, then you know they weren't surprised about what they actually saw, and so you can call it out.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, like the new mechanics do a lot to kind of like liven up the court environment. So yeah, overall, Dual Destinies. If you enjoyed any of the previous Phoenix Wright games, go for it.
What platform is it on? 3DS?
It's on the DS. Yeah, it's on the 3DS. There's actually anime cutscenes now too.
Ha! Really?
Yeah. Actually, this brings up another thing I wanted to talk about. Do you guys know Wendy Lee? Are you familiar with that name?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So Wendy Lee is a very prolific voice actress. Voice acting's hard. Like, that's a tough industry to get into, right? It would be okay with me if Wendy Lee wants to take a break.
Oh.
Anything. Like, I don't know if it's like Wendy Lee as a voice actress is bad or if it's just that she's been typecast. But, like, she is usually the person who gets the roles to play the annoying characters in anime. Like, if you look at her IMDb page, I'm willing to bet there is at least one character from like your personal video game memories that you hated that will be on that list. And like I said, I don't know if that's her fault. It might be that she's just getting typecast in that role a lot. But she voices Athena. And that's a bummer because I really like Athena as a character in all the times where she's not voice acted, and then the anime cutscenes start and her voice is really irritating.
Oh no.
So that was a little bit of a bummer for me. But overall, great game.
I'm looking through Wendy Lee's
Yeah, her IMDb page.
Yeah, her Wikipedia page. I'm trying to look at all the things.
Yeah, I'm looking through her IMDb. She played a bunch of characters in Bleach. So that's a strike against her.
She played Haruhi Suzumiya in the dub. I never saw it, but
she was Lily in Dragon Age Origins.
Hmm.
No clue who that is.
Yeah, she's around. I think the second Phoenix Wright game is still my all-time favorite. But Dual Destinies came close.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a direct-to-video television film of Resident Evil?
Sounds about right.
I mean, there's a couple of direct-to-DVD Resident Evil movies out there.
Wow, I had no idea.
I have one of them. I have Degeneration, which is okay.
I think there's one of those on Netflix, too.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. They seem to end up there.
Yeah, I don't know any of the voices. She was...
How well do you remember the second Phoenix Wright game, Kelly?
Oh, wait, she was Kiva in Megas XLR.
That was one of her better roles.
I remember Phoenix Wright, the second one. That was the guy with the face mask, right?
The one with like the red thing.
Or was it with Von Karma?
That one was with Von. The second one was the one with Von Karma's daughter, who had the whip.
Okay. Okay.
The reason I ask is because that was the one to me that still stands out. Just because like a lot of the cases in that one, the murderers were very sympathetic figures. Mm-hmm. Whereas in like the first one, they were all like cartoony villains. And like the second one to me has always stood out because that's the one that kind of hits the more important moral questions. Because there's, I don't care about spoilers. If you're watching the show and you want to play the second one, you don't want something spoiled. Just skip ahead a minute. I don't know. But the last case, the statute of limitations. It's been a long time since that game's been out. I don't know. The second game, the last case, you have to represent somebody who you know is guilty. And to me, that has always been like the ultimate like moral quandary to make a player experience in a game about being a lawyer. And none of the and like obviously I don't think they can do that again. Like right, like that it loses something if you do it a second time. But to me, like the fact that that happened in the second game is always probably going to make that one stand out as the best one to me.
I have to admit that the third one stood out to me because in the end of the third one, you have to represent yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah, that happens. That happens in the first game once as well.
And
Um,
so,
mhm. But yeah, that was a cool sequence in the last game as well.
I feel like the last game was so much more over the top than all the other ones. You know,
Yeah,
it was just like
it
crazy.
It did get pretty outrageous.
That was nuts.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember the first case in that one, the prologue case, where you're representing Phoenix?
No.
Okay. So the original, like the very first prologue case in the third Phoenix Wright game, you're playing as his future boss. It takes place like before she hired him.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
And Phoenix is wearing this ridiculous sweater with like a heart on it. So I unlocked a costume in Dual Destinies that puts Phoenix in that outfit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is a reward you can get in that game.
How far you have fallen.
Yep. And like the other thing I was thinking about while I was playing the game is I thought about like at first I thought, wow, this must have been hard to do in like a 3D setting because this is the first Phoenix Wright game where they actually have 3D character models.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like the characters actually have like depth, and the camera will like pan around sometimes for like dramatic effect and stuff. And I realized that's actually probably easier than the original ones, because in the original ones, all of the work, all the artwork and stuff was like unique assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted a character that was going to face Phoenix and talk to him in the other scenes, but then also be at the bench, you had to create two different like palettes, right? You had to create an animation palette for when they're facing Phoenix, and you had to create an animation palette for when they're standing side to side.
Mm-hmm.
But in the new one with the 3D models, I wonder if it was as simple as just putting the model next to him, like, and then you're done. They're facing the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It could be that due to like perspective and stuff, they still had to make a second model. But I realized that it's probably easier to scale that down and like work with it when it's a 3D model than when you have to draw all the art.
Oh yeah.
Just a thought. I don't know. But yeah, Dual Destinies, great game. I really enjoyed it. Really long game too.
Oh really?
Yeah. That game was like the plane ride to Jersey was about 4 hours. But on my last day, my plane got delayed for about 8 hours.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. So I played Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies in the airport for like 8 hours straight, not counting the time I spent on the plane playing it, and I still didn't beat it until I got home.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So it's a lengthy game.
Cool.
Yep.
Alrighty.
I am kind of looking it up online. Do they have a physical copy, or is this something that is on the Nintendo store?
This game came out like in a physical copy like 2 years ago. It is also available to download off the 3DS eShop, which is how I got it, because they had a Phoenix Wright sale there, and that was when I bought it. But there's a physical copy out there if you want to try and track it down.
Okay.
Yep. Alrighty. So, should we move on to the next part?
Yeah, I think unless anyone else has something else to talk about, I'm good.
Let's give them something to talk about. That's the song.
How about Marvel 2015?
Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna talk about Marvel 2015 in a moment. We'll be right back.
All right.
Like us on Facebook and SoundCloud, and that's the two we really care about.
Okay. Yeah. I guess we can stop lying. Do you think there's somebody out there who actually has been looking for us on like LinkedIn all this time? Like every single time we do a joke, there's one person out there who's like, God, I can't find them on Pinterest. It's told me to find them on Pinterest.
Yeah, when they should be looking for us on Juggalo Book.
We got a hot new MySpace page.
Oh God, have you guys seen MySpace lately? That homepage is a hot mess.
Is it?
That thing it's getting
Isn't
bombarded
it just like a thing for like music creators now, though?
Pretty much.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the end. We'll be right back.
All right.